I'm here, looks like it's kind of stopped snowing, sorta. It's gonna be a cold one today. I told Matt he might be in the cat today, and he said I'll bring my snowmobile gear. So I guess he's gonna get on the FW. So this brings back bad memories of doing this, 15 plus years ago. This is an interesting story. So they wanted to dig a new hole, and I bid it, and one other guy bid it, and I was at 34,000 something to move 30,000 yards, and he was at 77.9, something like that. So they gave it to me, and I talked to the guy afterwards. He said, well, congratulations. And I said, yeah, see you later. Then I get a call from the commissioner, and he says, Jeff, we gotta bid this again. It says you don't have a public works license. And I said, no, that's incorrect. We talked about that. I said, you don't need a public works license to bid this because it's a landfill and they're exempt from the competitive bidding process. But I did have a public works at the time, so I checked on him. I called the state. No, he did not have a public works license. So I called him back, said, state does not have a public works. I do. Here's mine. Here's my number. Well, we still feel like we need to bid it again because we put in there that it needed a public works and you don't. So I'm like, all right. So we bid it again. I stayed at 34 whatever, and he came down to 44. And for some reason they said, well, we got to bid it again. I'd had a butt full of it. So I stayed at the same money again, and he was at 29. So they gave it to him. And the reason they did it was earlier in that year, he had tore down a grain elevator in American Falls for General Mills. And he brought the demolition waste out here, and of course they scale everything and charge you based on weight for commercial activities. And the guys at the landfill, they, you can't expect them to know how the bidding process works in the real world. But if you bid a demolition job, your tipping fees have to be included in your bid. No corporation, company, anybody with any brains is going to leave that open-ended, because yeah, you could haul your stuff in here, and while you're at it, you could be hauling several other jobs in here and billing it to them. So they're not going to do that. You have to know how much you're going to move and what those fees are going to be. And he did that on purpose. He knew better. Been in the business long enough. So he hauled it in, and he told them it's for General Mills. So they sent a bill to General Mills when he was done, and General Mills says, we're not paying this. This is the deal. So they call. General Mills says they're not paying this. This year. Well, they said they would. And at that point, the commissioners should have just went after him legally. I just told the commissioners, I said, he has no intention of doing this. He does not have the equipment to do this, perform this job. And that's a lot of the problems I run into. Is I've dug every hole down here since 1994. I'd been digging them all the time, and then, after about 07, 08, the price of digging these pits doubled. It just doubled every time. So they'd want to bid it out, and I'd just say, well, Make sure you steer them to my YouTube channel, because I have the videos and what we go through to dig them. I said it takes a full-time D9 once we get down into the obsidian to rip that stuff up, and the rock and the hard pan, because the hard pan is so tough. You're gonna rip it with the 9 with the shanks halfway in, and then you're gonna back up and you're gonna go again, and you go through it and go through it till you break it up. Then you take 4 feet out and you stop the scrapers, and the cat goes after it for another hour or 2. And it's a tough, difficult process. This guy got the bid, and I told him, I said, has no intentions of ever doing this. The only reason you wanted him to bid this and get the job is because he owes you a lousy $5,000 in tipping fees. You're never going to get it. The only way you're going to get the money is go after him legally. And so they're like, okay, fine, we'll see. So he brought a Huff stiff frame loader over here. I saw that. I just died. Anyway, so I went about my business, went to work all year. I get a phone call about, September. Jeff, we need you to come dig a hole. I was like, what happened to Stan? Well, he told the commissioners a couple months ago they were on him to get here and get it done, and he told them that his wife had cancer, and I blah, blah, blah. Well, I checked on that. No, she didn't have cancer. She divorced him. They had cancer of the marriage. So anyway, they finally just gave up on it and just told him to get lost. So they lost their $5,000. They didn't get their hole dug. So they wanted me to come do it. And I said, dude, I'm booked up. It was a good year, farm year. We were busy covering rocks. I said, I'll get there when I get there. So we finally got moved down here probably the 1st of December. And it was cold and it was miserable. We had to plug the scrapers in and fight them to get them going. And I dug the hole for them and stuck to my price. And looking back on it, I should have said, well, it's going to cost you some more money. I should have threw quite a bit more money in it. And but no, I thought, I'll come down and get it done and show them I can perform. Then maybe next time they won't do this. And I got it done. We had to come back the day after Christmas to finish it, because we couldn't let those scrapers sit for days on end. We'd never get them going. So we finished it the day after Christmas. We came down the 27th. We only had 2 scrapers here. We got the scrapers started, and we came down like 3 or 4 in the morning, got them going, got them warmed up, took off, went through the middle of American Falls in a blizzard, across the dam, out South Pleasant Valley Road for I don't know how many miles, and then did this all the way home, back roads. And we got on one road and it was so slick, you had to be super careful. You had to push the tranny hold. You didn't want to let them downshift when you were coming to a stop sign because of the crown in the road. And when it shifted, you wanted to wind it way up past the shift point, then let go of the throttle and the tranny hold to let it shift without power on it. And we went around a corner, and I don't remember who it was, but it upshifted and boom, went right off the road. And we ended up out in a guy's field trying to get around and get back on the road. About ran over a riser. It took 3 hours to get those scrapers home, and it was like 70 miles. Whereas normally, if we could have hauled them, it would have been about 52. So anyway, I thought, well, maybe they'll appreciate that I bailed them out. I bailed them out a couple times, stuck to my price, and nope, they never remember that. They just don't. It's like this time they wanted a price on it. I gave them one. They're like, oh, that's a lot of money. So they went and got another price, and it was double mine. So I don't know. It's just I hate coming down and doing it this time of year, because it's gonna get miserable, and we are gonna end up plugging them in. So anyway, it's still blowing. Blech. could drive through the hole. So we're halfway. It's the next 30,000 yards that are going to be fun. You know, I can't believe, what are we, over 10 feet in the ground up here, and there's garbage still coming up. Fence posts, all kinds of stuff. Load's good though, take it there.
And remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy.